Now that we have a page, we're going to go ahead and pull out a piece of it and put it into what I will call an HTML component. The reason we want to do that is because there are several parts of pages that get repeated in multiple places, and we don't want to repeat that HTML, because then that means that we would have to go back and edit every single page. This is very repetitive and it's also very error prone. So we're going to go ahead and do that here with a small example. We're going to go ahead and replace this bar here, and we're going to go ahead and do that in the code now. As you can see here, if we scroll down the page, we will see this part here that says nav, and it goes all the way down here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I'm going to go ahead and save. And now if we reload the page in the browser, you will see there that the menu bar, the nav bar, is missing. So now we're going to go ahead and create a JavaScript file that will allow us to put that in. We're going to start off here by creating a div. And what you see there is an AI, an AI suggestion engine that is trying to guess what we're going to do. In this case, we're not going to do that. So I'm simply going to go ahead and enter here a div, and I'm going to call that div navbar. So I'm going to go ahead and enter here navbar. This is the name that I give it. I need to give it an ID first. Then I'm going to call it navbar. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a file where I will carry out the task of putting into that section, into line 79, into that div, the HTML that we took out. So I'm going to go ahead and create here a new file. I will call it navbar.js. And as you can see here, the file, I have the file before me, and I'm simply going to go ahead and enter here for now a variable called block. I'm going to go ahead and use backticks, as this allows us to do this in a cleaner way. And you can see there my suggestion engine again, trying to suggest to me what I should put in. In this case, I simply want to put in the code for the nav bar. This is simple HTML at this point. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a bit here so it looks a bit nicer. You can see it there, and I'm going to go ahead and enter a line terminator. At this point, we haven't done anything other than simply declare a variable. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the file here, and I want to make sure that I go ahead and enter a script source for that file. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and enter here script. I'm going to go ahead and enter source, and then I'm going to go ahead and enter the name of my file, which is navbar, and then I'm going to go ahead and close my tag. So we've gone ahead and added that file. At this point, this file is not doing anything. So now we need to add some code to be able to put back into the file on line, let's see, where was it that we did it? On line 79, that HTML. So we need to grab a hold of that div, and we need to put into that div that block of HTML. So I'm going to go ahead here and enter a handle on the navbar, and as you can see here, this is actually guessing the right thing. Again, my AI suggestion engine, you can see there that is doing document get element by ID navbar, which is how you get a handle of that div, and it is assigning it onto a variable called navbar. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter navbar.innerHTML, and I'm going to assign into it that block of HTML that I have. Now, again, this is my AI suggestion engine. In this case, is guessing it right. But the rest of it, as you can see here, is a pretty simple block of HTML that is going to be replaced onto the HTML page. Now, later we will make this a lot more dynamic and we will get a lot fancier. But as you can see here, this is the basic example. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back, and let's go ahead and try it before we do. As you can see there, we have the missing menu bar. I'm going to go ahead and reload the page. And as you can see there, the bar is back. So in this case, we have gone ahead and removed a block of HTML, put it onto a JavaScript file, and we are now loading that bar dynamically. Now this is, as mentioned before, a lot more advantageous. We're going to be using the menu bar in many places, and we don't want to be repeating this over and over. So this is a very convenient way to do this. We will do this a lot more, and we will progressively replace all of the handwritten HTML with programmatic HTML. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this, go ahead and walk through it, make sure you can replicate what I have done.